Commander Olivia Reed stared at the main screen of Europa Research Station. The normally calm officer felt her heart beat faster as she watched the unknown ships appear one by one. There were hundreds of them, maybe thousands. They had somehow bypassed all of Earth's early warning systems. "How many?" she asked quietly. "We've counted over 3,000 vessels so far, Commander," replied Lieutenant Sam Collins, his voice shaking slightly. "Nothing in our database matches their design." Olivia nodded, her mind racing through protocols and procedures. Humanity had expanded through the solar system, building colonies on Mars and research stations on several moons of Jupiter and Saturn, but they had never encountered intelligent alien life. Until today. "Send the first contact message on all frequencies," she ordered, "and alert Earth Command immediately." Minutes later, the main screen flickered and showed the image of what could only be described as an alien. It had a hard, shiny exoskeleton, multiple compound eyes, and mandibles that clicked as it spoke in perfect English. "People of Earth, I am General Kraz Tur of the Vraxian Dominion. Your solar system is now under our control. You have 72 hours to surrender or face extinction." The transmission ended abruptly. Before Olivia could respond, another officer called out, "Commander, they just destroyed the military outpost on Titan. No warning. It's just gone." A cold feeling settled in Olivia's stomach. This was not how first contact was supposed to go. Meanwhile, on Ganymede, the outermost moon of Jupiter, Jack Miller was finishing his shift as a security contractor for the small mining colony. The former Special Forces operative checked his watch. His daughter Lisa would be getting out of school soon. Since his wife died 2 years ago, Lisa was his whole world. Jack's radio crackled to life. "Miller, we need you at the North Sector." Some kind of disturbance. Jack frowned. The North Sector was near Lisa's school. "On my way," he replied, already running. When he arrived, chaos greeted him. People were screaming and pointing at the sky. A small alien ship, different from the massive vessels that had appeared in space, was hovering above the colony. A beam of light extended from its belly, and within it, several small figures were being lifted into the ship. Jack's blood turned to ice as he recognized one of them. "Lisa," he shouted, sprinting toward the beam. But he was too late. The ship sealed itself and shot upward, disappearing into the dark sky. Colony officials quickly confirmed that 12 children had been taken. Earth Command ordered everyone to remain calm and not take any action that might worsen relations with the aliens. They promised to make the return of the children part of their response to the Vraxians. But Jack couldn't wait. All he could think about was Lisa, alone and scared among alien creatures. He had to do something. Late that night, he slipped into the colony's research hangar. Inside was the prototype XS-7, a small stealth craft designed to avoid detection. It was still experimental, but Jack didn't care about the risks. "I'm coming for you, Lisa," he whispered as he powered up the craft. He had stolen the coordinates of the Vraxian fleet from the colony's command center. The main alien ships were positioned between Earth and Jupiter, a massive armada waiting for humanity's surrender. The hangar doors opened silently, and Jack's stolen craft slipped out into space. He knew his actions might doom humanity if the aliens saw it as an act of aggression. But he was a father before he was a human, and no force in the universe would stop him from saving his daughter. Behind him, alarms began to sound as the colony discovered his theft. Ahead of him waited an alien civilization with technology far beyond Earth's. Jack set his jaw and pushed the throttle forward. One way or another, he was bringing Lisa home. Jack's stolen stealth craft drifted silently through the vastness of space. The experimental ship was working better than he had hoped, its advanced cloaking technology hiding him from the Vraxian scanners. Ahead of him, the alien fleet spread out like a sea of metal, thousands of ships surrounding a central mothership that was larger than anything humans had ever built. As he approached, Jack studied the fleet's movement patterns. He noticed smaller vessels moving between the larger ships, probably carrying supplies. That would be his way in. "Hold on, Lisa," he whispered, even though his daughter couldn't hear him. "Just a little longer." Jack waited for one of the supply ships to approach the mothership. When it was close enough, he maneuvered his craft alongside it, using it as cover. When the supply ship docked with the mothership, Jack quickly attached his craft to the same docking area, making it look like part of the larger vessel. Wearing the spacesuit he had stolen along with the craft, Jack exited through the airlock. He kept his breathing slow and even. The suit had limited oxygen, and he needed to make every breath count. The inside of the mothership was strange and unsettling. The walls were curved like the inside of an insect's nest, with odd green lights casting long shadows. The air was breathable, but had a sweet, almost rotten smell. Jack removed his helmet and moved forward carefully, hiding whenever he heard the clicking sounds of approaching Praxians. From his hiding spots, Jack observed the aliens. They moved with purpose, always in groups, their hard exoskeletons gleaming in the green light. They seemed to communicate not just with sounds, but with movements of their antennae and quick touches of their limbs. Jack realized they were like a hive, each one connected to the others in ways humans weren't. Following a group of smaller Vraxians that seemed less aggressive than the soldiers, Jack made his way deeper into the ship. He passed chambers filled with strange equipment and rooms where Vraxians clustered around glowing screens. Finally, he found what looked like a laboratory section. Through a clear wall, Jack saw something that made his heart stop. Children, human children in what looked like sleep chambers. And among them was Lisa, her eyes closed, floating in some kind of clear liquid. Jack watched as Vraxian scientists moved around the chambers, taking readings but not harming the children. He noticed something odd. Whenever the aliens approached the children, they moved with extreme care, almost reverence. One scientist accidentally bumped a chamber, causing it to wobble slightly, and all the other Vraxians froze, their antennae quivering in what seemed like alarm. "They're afraid of hurting them," Jack realized. This discovery gave him both hope and a possible advantage. Waiting until most of the scientists had left for what he guessed was a shift change, Jack slipped into the laboratory. Only one Vraxian remained, its back to him as it studied a screen filled with data. Jack moved silently across the room and reached Lisa's chamber. The control panel had symbols he didn't understand, but a large green button seemed promising. He pressed it, and the liquid in Lisa's chamber began to drain. The Vraxian scientist turned at the sound, its compound eyes widening at the sight of Jack. It made a high-pitched clicking sound that Jack knew must be an alarm. Lisa's eyes fluttered open as the chamber opened. "Dad," she whispered, confused but relieved. "I'm here, sweetheart. We're going home," Jack said, helping her out. He quickly moved to the other chambers, freeing the rest of the children. "Stay together," he told them as they gathered around him, scared but hopeful. Two Vraxian guards burst into the laboratory, their mandibles spread wide in what Jack guessed was anger. They carried weapons that looked like spears crackling with energy. Jack pushed the children behind him, ready to fight with nothing but his bare hands. What he didn't notice was that the laboratory shared a wall with another important room, the royal brood chamber where the future leaders of the Vraxian species were developing. Jack lunged at the first Vraxian guard, catching it by surprise. His years of special forces training kicked in as he knocked the energy spear from its grip and used it against the second guard. Both aliens fell to the floor, their hard exoskeletons cracking under the force of Jack's desperate attack. The commotion caused a section of wall to slide open, revealing a connecting chamber. Inside were rows of glowing pods similar to the ones that had held the children, but smaller and with a pulsing blue light. Jack didn't have time to wonder what they were. "This way," he told the children, pointing to the door he had entered through. Quick and quiet, just like hide and seek. The 12 children followed him, with Lisa staying close to his side. As they moved toward the exit, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. High-pitched wails echoed down the curved hallways, and red lights flashed along the walls. "Dad, I'm scared," Lisa whispered, gripping his hand tightly. "It's okay, baby. We're going home," Jack assured her, though he wasn't sure how they would make it back to his craft. Meanwhile, in Earth's military command center, Commander Olivia Reed was monitoring the Vraxian fleet. For almost 12 hours, the aliens had maintained their position, waiting for humanity's surrender. But suddenly, something changed. "Commander, the Vraxian ships are pulling back," Lieutenant Collins reported, his eyes wide with surprise. They're repositioning." Olivia frowned. The massive alien vessels were indeed moving, creating a strange formation around their mothership. "Are they preparing to attack?" she asked. "I don't think so," Collins replied. "They're broadcasting something on all frequencies." Olivia nodded. "Let's hear it." A message played through the command center speakers, the voice of General Kraz-Tur repeating the same phrase over and over. "Return what was taken. Return what was taken." What does that mean? Olivia wondered aloud. Return what? No one had an answer, but Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that something important had happened on the Vraxian mothership. Back on the alien vessel, Jack and the children were hiding in what appeared to be a storage area. Vraxian soldiers rushed past their hiding spot, clearly searching for them. Jack knew they couldn't stay hidden for long. "We need to get to my ship," he whispered to the children. "It's near the supply dock, about 10 levels above us." One of the older boys, a 10-year-old named Ryan, pointed to a narrow shaft in the wall. "What about that?" "It looks like an air duct or something." Jack examined the opening. It was barely big enough for an adult human, but the children would fit easily. "Good eye, Ryan. That might be our ticket out of here." On the bridge of the mothership, General Kraz-Tur received the news from a trembling junior officer. "The human test subjects have escaped, General," the officer reported, mandibles clicking nervously. "Recapture them without harm," Kraz-Tur ordered. "They are valuable specimens." "There is more, General," the officer continued. "The royal brood chamber was breached. 5 larvae are missing." Kraz-Tur's entire body went rigid. "Missing? How?" "The human who freed the younger humans. It seems he may have taken them as well." The chamber adjacent to the nursery was damaged in the struggle. General Kraz-Tur made a sound no human had ever heard before, a high keening that expressed utter horror. "One human took their children and our royal larvae," he asked, his voice rising to a shriek. "You've doomed us all." All around the mothership, Vraxians stopped what they were doing, feeling their leader's distress through their hive connection. Fear spread through the fleet like a wave. In the cramped ventilation shaft, Jack led the children upward, unaware that he had just changed the course of human-Vraxian relations forever, and unaware that in the small medical bag he had grabbed from the lab, which he thought might contain supplies for the children, 5 small, glowing pods held the future leadership of an entire alien civilization. Jack and the children crawled through the tight ventilation shafts of the Vraxian mothership for what felt like hours. The medical bag he had grabbed bounced against his hip as he moved. Behind him, the children followed in a line, with Lisa right behind him, and Ryan bringing up the rear. "Are we almost there, Dad?" Lisa whispered. "I think so," Jack replied, though he wasn't sure. The ship's layout was confusing, but he could feel a slight change in air movement that suggested they were getting closer to the outer sections. Finally, they reached a larger junction where several shafts met. Through a grate, Jack could see the docking area where supply ships came and went. His stolen craft was still there, attached to the hull. "That's our ride home," he told the children. "When I open this grate, we'll need to move fast and stay together." Jack kicked the grate open and helped the children out one by one. They ran across the docking bay, staying low and using the alien cargo containers for cover. Miraculously, no Vraxians were in sight. They were all searching other parts of the ship. When they reached the stealth craft, Jack quickly ushered the children inside. The craft was meant for 1 pilot, maybe 2 passengers, but they would have to make it work. The children squeezed together in the small cabin area. "Hang on," Jack said as he started the engines. "This might get bumpy." The craft detached from the mothership and slipped away, its cloaking technology hiding them from immediate detection. Jack pushed the engines to full power, heading back toward Ganymede. In Earth's command center, Commander Olivia Reed was receiving strange reports from all over the solar system. "The Vraxian fleet is pulling back from Earth orbit," Lieutenant Collins reported. "They're regrouping near Jupiter." "And they're still broadcasting that same message?" Olivia asked. "Yes, but there's more now," Collins replied. "They're saying, 'Return our future. No harm will come to you or your young if our future is returned.'" Olivia frowned. "What do they mean by our future?" Before anyone could answer, another officer called out, "Commander, we're picking up a small craft leaving the Vraxian mothership. It's using one of our stealth signatures." "Show me," Olivia ordered. The screen displayed a tiny blip moving away from the alien fleet, Jack's stolen craft. "That's the XS-7 prototype that was reported stolen from Ganymede," Collins confirmed. Olivia made a quick decision. "Send interceptors. I want that craft brought in safely." On the bridge of the Vraxian mothership, General Kraz Tur paced back and forth, his exoskeleton clicking with each step. A group of nervous officers watched him. "Explain to me," Kraz Tur said, his voice dangerously calm, "how one human managed to take not only their young but 5 of our royal larvae." One brave officer stepped forward. The larva containers were in the medical storage adjacent to the human testing room. The human must have thought they were supplies for their young. "Do you understand what this means?" Kraz Tur asked. "Those 5 larvae are the next generation of our leadership. Without them, our entire civilization will face collapse within a century." He turned to face a large view screen showing the fleeing craft. "The humans must not be harmed. If they damage the larva, even accidentally, we are finished." In the stealth craft, one of the younger children was crying softly. "What's in your bag, Mr. Miller?" asked a girl named Emma. "It keeps making a weird humming sound." Jack had forgotten about the medical bag in the rush to escape. He unzipped it and looked inside. There were no medical supplies. Instead, 5 small pods glowed with soft blue light. Inside each pod, Jack could see a tiny creature that looked like a miniature version of the Vraxians. "What are those?" Lisa asked, peering into the bag. Before Jack could answer, the craft's warning system beeped loudly. "Earth ships approaching," the computer announced. "They are ordering us to stop and prepare for boarding." Jack looked at the alien pods, then at the children, then at the Earth ships on his radar. He suddenly realized that he might have just started, or perhaps ended, a war between 2 species. Jack stared at the glowing pods containing the alien larvae. Everything suddenly made sense. The Vraxians' urgent messages, their sudden change from aggression to desperation. These weren't medical supplies. They were baby Vraxians. "Dad, what are we going to do?" Lisa asked, her eyes wide with worry. Jack made his decision. "We're going to stop," he told her, slowing the craft and opening a communication channel to the approaching Earth ships. "This is Jack Miller. I have 12 children rescued from the Vraxian mothership, and I think I accidentally took something very important from the aliens." The lead Earth ship responded immediately. "Miller, this is Captain Alan Wright. You are to dock with our vessel right away. Commander Reed is waiting to speak with you." An hour later, Jack sat in a conference room aboard Earth's largest space station. The children had been taken to the medical bay for checkups, and the 5 alien pods were under guard in a secure laboratory. Across from him sat Commander Olivia Reed, her face serious but not unkind. "You broke about 15 regulations," she said, "stole experimental military equipment, and nearly started an interstellar war." Jack nodded. He knew the trouble he was in. "I had to save my daughter." Olivia sighed. "I understand, but now we have a complicated situation. The Vraxians have requested an emergency meeting. Their General Kraz Tur is coming here, to this station." Jack's eyes widened. "Here, Why aren't they just attacking us to get there? Whatever they are, back. That's what we're going to find out, Olivia replied. Later that day, a small Vraxian shuttle docked with the station. General Kraz Tur stepped out, accompanied by 2 other aliens. To everyone's surprise, they carried no weapons. In the station's largest meeting room, human leaders faced the Vraxian delegation across a long table. Jack stood to one side, still considered both a hero and a criminal. Commander Reed led the human side. "We welcome you to Earth Space Station 1, Olivia said formally. "We wish to resolve this situation peacefully." General Kraz Tur's mandibles clicked softly before he spoke. "We also desire peace. The human who took our royal larva, is he here?" All eyes turned to Jack, who stepped forward nervously. "That was me. I didn't know what they were. I thought I was taking medical supplies for the children." The general's compound eyes studied Jack. "You risked everything to save your young." Jack nodded. "Any parent would." "This is something we understand," Kraz Tur said, surprising everyone. "Protection of the young is the highest law in Vraxian society. It is why we were so horrified by what happened." Olivia leaned forward. "Then why did you take our children in the first place?" One of the other Vraxians spoke up. "That was not authorized. A science officer acted without permission, believing the young humans would make good test subjects. This is forbidden by our laws. We came to your system," General Kraz Tur continued, "not to conquer, but to request your alliance. There is a greater threat in our galaxy, the Keln hegemony. They destroy all in their path and harvest young of all species for resources." This revelation stunned the human representatives. Olivia looked skeptical. "And we're supposed to believe you came in peace. You destroyed our outpost on Titan." "A regrettable demonstration," Kraz Tur admitted. "Our leaders believed humans would only respect strength." "It was an uninhabited research station. It had a crew of 20, Olivia corrected him. The Vraxian general's antennae drooped. "No, our scans showed no life forms. If we killed your people, this changes everything." Before anyone could respond, a scientist burst into the room. "Commander Reed, the alien larva and the human children. Something strange is happening." Jack immediately stood up. "Is Lisa okay?" "The children are fine," the scientist assured him. "But they're communicating with the alien larva. Somehow." Jack rushed to the medical bay with Commander Reed and General Kraz Tur close behind him. When they arrived, they found an amazing sight. The 12 children sat in a circle on the floor with the 5 glowing pods placed in the center. The children's eyes were closed, but their faces showed expressions of wonder and concentration. "Lisa," Jack called out softly, not wanting to disturb whatever was happening. Lisa opened her eyes and smiled at her father. "Dad, they're talking to us. The baby aliens. They can put their thoughts in our heads." General Kraz Tur made a sound like a gasp. His antennae trembled as he observed the scene. "Impossible," he whispered. "The royal larvae have formed a telepathic bond with human young. This has never happened with any species we've encountered." The lead scientist, Dr. Judy Winters, approached with a tablet showing brain scans. "We've been monitoring the children's brain activity. When they're near the larva, they show patterns we've never seen before. It's as if new neural pathways are forming." "Can all of you hear them?" Commander Reed asked the children. Ryan, the older boy who had helped find the escape route on the mothership, nodded. "Yes, but Lisa hears them best. They're scared, but they're also curious about us." Lisa looked at the Vraxian general. "They want to know if you're angry with them." Kraz Tur moved closer and knelt beside the circle of children. "No, young ones. Tell our royal larvae that we are grateful they are safe." Lisa closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them. "They say thank you. They also say there's danger coming. Bad aliens who hurt children. They showed me pictures in my head." She shuddered. It was scary. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Captain Wright's voice came over the intercom. "Commander Reed to the bridge immediately. Unknown ship detected at the edge of the solar system. In the command center, screens showed a sleek, dark vessel unlike either human or Vraxian design. General Krastor hissed when he saw it. "Kelm," he said, his voice filled with hatred. "A scout ship. They must have detected our fleet entering your system." As they watched, the strange ship fired some kind of beam toward Earth, then disappeared in a flash of light. "What did it just do?" Jack asked. "Sent data back to its fleet," Krastor explained. "Now they know about your world, your colonies, and our presence here." "Could we catch it?" Commander Reed asked. "Too late," said one of the human officers. "It's gone. Some kind of faster-than-light jump." General Krastor turned to Commander Reed. "The Kelm will come now. They harvest planets for resources, including the young of intelligent species. They consider children biological components to be used, not lives to be protected." The word sent a chill through everyone in the room. Jack moved closer to the general. "You said you came here looking for allies against these Kelm. Well, now you have them." Commander Reed nodded in agreement. "We need to prepare. How much time do we have?" "Days, perhaps a week," Krastor replied. "Their main fleet moves slower than their scouts." "Then we need to combine our forces," Olivia said decisively. "Your technology with our strategies." As the military leaders began planning the defense of the solar system, Jack returned to the medical bay to check on Lisa and the other children. He found them still communicating with the Vraxian larva. "Dad," Lisa said when she saw him, "the alien babies have an idea. They say they can help us fight the bad aliens if we let them." "How?" Jack asked, curious. "They can talk to us, and we can talk to them," Lisa explained. "If they stay with their people, and we stay with ours, we can help everyone work together. Like having a phone call that never ends." Dr. Winters, who had been monitoring the children, looked up from her instruments. "She's right. The neural connection works at a distance. We tested it when you were gone." Jack realized what this meant. Human children and Vraxian larvae could create a perfect communication bridge between the two species, something no technology could match. Outside the station's windows, the Vraxian fleet was already moving into defensive positions around Earth and its colonies. A new alliance was forming, born from a father's desperate rescue mission. 1 week later, the solar system was ready for war. Human and Vraxian ships formed a defensive line between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter. The 5 royal Vraxian larvae had been placed in a special chamber on General Krastor's command ship, while Lisa and the other children remained on Earth's space station with Jack and Commander Reed. Through their special connection, the children relayed information between the two species faster than any computer system could. Battle plans, tactical decisions, and emergency responses were shared instantly, creating a level of coordination that would have been impossible just days ago. "Kelm fleet detected," announced a voice over the communication system. "Over 200 ships approaching from the outer system." Jack looked at Lisa, who sat with the other children in what they now called the bridge room. Each child wore a small headset that measured their brain activity as they communicated with their Vraxian counterparts. "The royal larvae say the Kelm always attack the center first," Lisa reported. "They try to break through the middle of the defense line." Commander Reed nodded and relayed this information to the fleet captains. The combined human Vraxian forces adjusted their position, strengthening the center while preparing hidden ships on the flanks. When the Kelm fleet arrived, they were met with a wall of firepower. The first wave of alien ships crashed against the defensive line, their dark hulls absorbing damage before exploding in silent bursts of light. But there were too many of them, and slowly they began to push through. "We need to hit their command ship." General Krastor's voice came through the communication system. "But it stays at the back, protected by their fleet. We cannot reach it." Jack, who had been watching the battle display, stepped forward. "I might be able to get through. The stealth craft I used to board your ship, could it get past the Kelm fleet?" "Possibly," Commander Reed said. "Their sensors might be different from Vraxian technology." I'll go, Jack volunteered. I've flown it before. General Kraz-Tur joined the conversation. I will provide a strike team to cover your approach. This is our best chance. Within an hour, Jack was back inside the small stealth craft, now modified with Vraxian technology. Lisa hugged him tightly before he left. The baby aliens say to be careful, she told him. They say thank you for saving them. Jack smiled at his daughter. Tell them they're welcome, and I'll be back soon. The small craft slipped out of the space station, followed by 5 Vraxian fighter ships, led by General Kraz-Tur himself. As they approached the battle, Jack activated the enhanced cloaking system and watched as the Vraxian fighters drew enemy fire, creating a path for him to follow. Through the chaos of the battle, Jack's craft moved unseen. Lisa's voice came through his headset, guiding him based on information from the royal larva. Left, now right. There's a gap opening in their formation. Finally, Jack reached the massive Keln command ship. Up close, it looked like a giant black spider with weapons extending from multiple points. Following the plan they had developed, Jack attached his craft to the hull and placed Vraxian explosive devices at key points that the larva had identified through their ancestral knowledge of Keln weaknesses. Charges set, Jack reported, beginning retreat. But as he returned to his craft, a Keln patrol spotted him. Energy weapons fired, hitting his ship and damaging the engines. Jack was trapped. Dad, Lisa cried through the communication link. What's happening? Before Jack could respond, General Kraz-Tur's fighter appeared, drawing the Keln fire. Go, human, the general ordered. I will cover your escape. Jack managed to get his damaged craft away from the Keln ship just as the charges detonated. The explosion ripped through the command vessel, causing a chain reaction that spread to nearby ships. The Keln fleet fell into disarray. Without their central command, the remaining Keln ships were easy targets for the combined human-Vraxian forces. One by one, they were destroyed or fled the solar system. 3 days later, Jack stood with Lisa as General Kraz-Tur. His exoskeleton, now bearing new scars from the battle, presented them with a ceremonial Vraxian medallion. You have saved not only your young, but ours as well, the general said. And in doing so, you have given both our species a future. As the royal larvae were brought into the room in their pods now growing visibly larger, Lisa smiled. They say this is just the beginning. They want to grow up learning about humans, and they want us to learn about them too. General Kraz-Tur's mandibles clicked in what humans now recognized as a smile. Indeed, the one who took our children has given us all a new path forward, together.